Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and today I'll be doing a review of the Neca Toys Raphael as Frankenstein's monster. Now, taking a look at the front of the box, we can see a great image of Raphael, and I absolutely love the font used for the Frankenstein's monster. And if we turn the box around, we get this really awesome horror poster-like motif featuring some great images of Raphael as Frankenstein's monster. And if we turn the box back around, opening the lid, we can see that the figure is showcased in a window box packaging featuring all its accessories. So with the box out of the way, let's go ahead and crack this figure open and let him breathe. Alright guys, now let's take a closer look at Raphael as Frankenstein's monster. Now I love this, man, so I know it's taking me a while. I know there's all kinds of reviews of this figure out already, but I definitely wanted to check him out here for you guys, mostly because I just wanted to play with him. That's honestly why I'm doing this. But he looks so good, man. A total throwback to those old school vintage TMNT toys, crossed with Universal Monsters, obviously done differently and updated and a lot bigger, a lot more detail, but this is just crazy good. So where this figure shines for me is definitely the sculpt and the paint. First of all, that head sculpt, man, holy crap, look at that. That looks so crazy good. The eyes just look amazing right there. The teeth and that grimace like that with the curled out mouth and the folds in the mouth, little crinkles in the mouth. You can see even stitching on there. I mean, the little warts and things like that. The forehead, the brow, the scarring, even like the big like staples holding on his top of his hair. And it's an Ninja Turtle with hair. That's always creeping me out no matter what figure it's coming. But that looks insane. You got the bolts on the side of the neck. I mean, all this, even the inner shell right here. You can see like a little metal plate holding his shell together with the cracks and things like that. I got the little pressure tank right here, kind of reaches back into a hose. I'll show that in a little bit. But the shirt all looks great. The sculpt, the buttons, the folds, the texture, all the stitching. I mean, they did not skimp on the paint on this whatsoever. Each little patch stitch is all painted. He still has his Ninja Turtles pads on the elbows right there, look really good. You can see more little plates holding together and stitching. The hands, the nails. I mean, this is crazy. You do got a real metal chain wrapped around him for his belt, which is really cool. Same thing on this side, more of those staples holding him together. I mean, that's crazy good, man. Down to the pants here. Again, every little bit is painted. How cool is that? His knee pads down there looking really good too. That really nice dark wash in there looking awesome. Throughout the back too. Again, look at that. Every stitch absolutely painted. That is crazy to me. I love he has the little bolts on his shoes right now. I love how they're like riser, like platform shoes to make them a little taller, which is very old school. But I love that you can see a little bit of wash in there as well. That just looks so crazy good. We're into the back of the shell. I love this right here. You know, he has that sewer lid that's like put together as being a part of his shell now. You can see the little metal plates holding it there, and that wash just looks insane. See the back of his head with his bandana. See how the staples are holding the bandana onto his head? That's crazy, dude. But you can see where the hoses come back to this one right here, and I love that this is actually a clear resin plastic like that. Has little cracks in it really too. The shell looks amazing, man. Oh my god, they did such a good job. And to see where the chains come through over that belt, and I love this whole metal plate thing right here, kind of holding the belt on. It kind of also reminds me of the big storage thing that the vintage toy had, where you store that big knife at. You know what I'm talking about? So it kind of reminds me of that. But again, all of this just looks crazy good. I am just super impressed what Neca did with this, man, and I cannot wait to get the entire lineup. I know Leo's coming in very soon, so that's going to be really cool, and I know they just put up Splinter for pre-order, so I'm really stoked about all these. I have them all on pre-order. This is such a cool and unique line, and man, they absolutely killed it with Raphael here. So now as far as accessories go, we don't get a ton of stuff. We do get interchangeable hands, so you got gripping hands like so. We do got more open palm stylized posing hands, and then we do get closed fisted hands. You know, one hand for each side, so you get 2 of each like that. But easily his best accessories are going to be his size here. Oh my god, I love this design. As you can see, they're almost designed like conductor rods, which I think is super cool. Something you would have saw in the Frankenstein's lab. But I love how the blade is done like a lightning bolt. I think that's super cool. So you can put these in the gripping hands like so. The hands are a little rubbery, so it does help getting them in there. They're not super stiff, so I do like that a lot. You can't get them in that pose where or the gripping where you hold them like that. Just, you can't do that. But we do get little hoops right here on the waist like that. You see these little metal plates like there. These are for holding the actual size like he would on the front of his belt like that. I do notice that the chain kind of gets in the way, so you can't get them all the way in like you would like, you know what I mean? So I noticed you kind of have to like probably maneuver some of the chain around, and that'll help get these in a little better, kind of like so. So I mean, you know, whatever your preference is, you can do it. You can even pull this chain completely down and let it just hang from the bottom so these can go in even more so. But you know, it's really up to you, and I think that looks super cool. Me personally, I'm gonna have him holding at least one, you know what I mean, and probably doing that reaching kind of like Frankenstein kind of like pose, you know what I mean. But I love it so much, man. God, this thing just looks super cool. I'm super happy with this. Okay, so now let's move on to the articulation here. It has on a ball joint, rolls around very nicely, does turn left and right, up and down, and pivot side to side. The neck kind of feels like it's supposed to move, yeah, so that is a separate ball peg. I don't know if you're going to get much besides left to right, but it is there. Arms can go full 360, up and out that far. That's actually really nice. You can swivel up there. Single bend, actually, yeah, I don't know, it kind of feels like a single bend, but because of the elbow pad, you're only going to get about that much, so about 90. Rotation at the wrist, as well as a hinge at the wrist, that works out really good too. The waist here, it feels like it's a ball peg, but you're not going to get a whole lot. That's pretty much all I can swivel it, and there's pretty much like no crunching whatsoever. The hip joint's going to kick forward that far. This crotch piece right here is a softer plastic, so that helps. Kicks back about that much where it hits the shell. Splits out that far. Rotation in the upper thigh. We get a double jointed knee. Again, hindered by that knee pad, but also does swivel at the knee right there. Nothing at the ankle, but there's a ball peg hinge, excuse me, at the ankle like so, so you can go up and down a bit. And then no rotation really, but you do get a really good ankle rocker. That actually works very nicely. Oh, and we do get peg holes at the bottom of the feet. Check that out. So overall, I'm so happy with this. Again, I think this is a super cool line. I didn't even consider them doing things like this because Neca, in my opinion, has been making some of the best turtle stuff out there for a good number of years now. And the Universal Monster crossover from the vintage line was just so cool. Those vintage figures go for crazy prices now. So I think it's super dope that they're kind of doing their own thing. I kind of wish they just remade those old school ones, but maybe that's something we'll get from Super 7 since they're doing stuff more based on the actual toy line. But this is awesome, man. I'm all in on this specific Turtles crossover line. I think it looks super great, and Raphael is definitely a must get. So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and Mafex Batman figure. Also for comparison, here he is standing next to a NECA movie Raphael and Mezco 112 Collective Frankenstein's monster. And just for fun, here he is with little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys, my review of the NECA Toys Raphael as Frankenstein's monster. Now overall, I think this is a beautiful and one of the most gorgeous action figures I've ever seen of a Ninja Turtle. It really is a throwback to that vintage line where they took the Turtles and crossed them over with Universal Monsters. But man, this Frankenstein's monster piece is gorgeous. The sculpt is one of the coolest, most beautiful, most gross things I've ever seen. From the skin, to the shirt, to the damage, the scarring, the stapling, the stitching, all the really cool paint apps are so amazingly done and well put together. I love the actual use of real chain for the belt, and absolutely love those sides with the lightning bolt rods. I think that's super cool. Now the articulation works pretty good. You know, this is a Frankenstein's monster, so I don't know how dynamic of poses you want to get, but at the same time, it is a Ninja Turtle, and you might want to get some really cool ninja poses out of it. Either way, this is still one big, impressive piece, and in my personal opinion, a definite must get. So be excellent to each other, and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.